Good day, and thank you for tuning in 3D, the Daily Divine Direction broadcast. For all of our new listeners and viewers who are tuning in for the very first time, I'm Pastor Pope. And thank you for allowing us to come into your listening and viewing environment. We are here with you every Monday through Friday from 12:30 p.m. until 1 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, broadcasting live from the FijiWater.com sponsored studio, where you can discuss careers, finances, entrepreneurship. You can discuss marriage, divorce, raising children, blending families. You can discuss dating and relationships. Whatever's in your heart, whatever's on your mind, God is concerned about that which concerns you. That is the reason that we are here with you in 3D, the Daily Divine Direction broadcast, which is brought to you daily by Fiji Water, Earth's finest water. You may already know that Fiji water comes from Fiji. However, did you know that it is created by nature? It is untouched by man. It starts as a tropical rainfall which slowly filters through layers of volcanic rock, where the water collects in a natural, sustainable artesian aquifer where it is bottled right at the source, free from human contact until you unscrew the blue cap. Fiji Water, Earth's finest water, will be delivered right to your front door when you subscribe for delivery. And you'll save money at FijiWater.com. This is not just ordinary water. This is Earth's finest water at FijiWater.com. And for those of you who continue giving on the give segment of our app at New Life-Delaware, and those of you that have made a weekly or monthly commitment to support the broadcast by giving on the contribution pages of our websites at NewLifeMinistriesInternational.com and NewLifeInternationalCDC.com, and those of you who use the QR code or the link provided on Facebook or YouTube to support the broadcast, we thank all of you for your commitment and for your support as we fulfill our commitment to God to be here for you in 3D, the Daily Divine Direction broadcast. So I want to remind all of our listeners and viewers, we are Facebook Live, we are YouTube Live at Daily Divine Direction, and we are asking everyone to stay connected with us throughout the week, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year through our internet radio station, WKAP Faith Empowerment Radio, where we play music that will encourage you, empower you, and inspire you 24 hours a day to become the best version of ourselves that we can possibly become. And I want to say to everyone, we are thankful for the increase in listener and viewership because you continue encouraging your family, friends, co-workers, and colleagues to tune in for the Daily Divine Direction broadcast. And we've seen a significant increase in our viewership, our listening audience on our internet radio station at WKAP Faith Empowerment Radio at WKAPfaith.com. So we thank all of you for your continued push and for your commitment as we fulfill our commitment to God to continue to enhance the quality of life for all of those who desire to experience the fullness of God. So I'm going to address a communication that came in from one of our listeners and viewers who indicated that your daughter drinks excessively with her friends during a normal weekend and often has regrets about what she does when drinking. And you are concerned about her drinking during the holiday season. And you want to know, how can you persuade her to do things differently this year? So let me begin by saying this. First and foremost, I think part of the conversation that you may want to have with your daughter is that you really don't want to disrupt the quality of your life by damaging her health. So let's think about this. We all have to be mindful of this. You look on any bottle of wine or spirits, unless it is something that is on the market that has no alcohol content, you're putting alcohol into your body. That is going to, it's poison. It's eventually going to, it's going to damage your body in some form, whether it's your liver, whether it is your cognitive ability. It's going to have some type of negative impact. We can't put things in the body that are going to destroy the body. I mean, look, pardon me, everything has its side effects. You eat too much sugar over the course of your lifetime, it's going to have an impact on you. You drink too much, it's going to have an impact. You smoke, it's going to have an impact. We have to realize that our goal is to keep this body healthy as long as we possibly can. So you might want to have that conversation with her first of all. See, the problem that you're having right now is that when you have a conversation with her about her drinking habits, she feels as though she's being attacked. Even though she's bringing to you what she regrets because she makes some poor decisions, because she does some things that don't result in her having respect from her colleagues and peers. You know, those are just results of drinking too heavy or excessively. She's got to think differently about what she's doing, first of all, to her body and to her mind. And she's got to stop trying to fit in. So what's happened is that first it started out she was trying to fit in, then it became, okay, we're gonna drink every weekend because that's what we do. So that's what she does with her friends. She may need some new friends, but that you can't start the discussion with that. It has to first of all be about her health, because you will be able to point out things that have already started to affect her body. She's only looking at it from the perspective of her regrets, but you can already identify some things that are changing with regard to her body. So, you know, she's shared things with you about her monthly health and what that looks like, and that's being impacted by her drinking excessively. You know, she shared some things with you about, you know, the impact it's had on her career. That's a result of her drinking excessively. These are things you can point out. You know, if you, what I mean by that is, you know, you don't want to attack her about her career, because younger people will say, I know what I'm doing. What you want to explain to her is that when you show up at work and you've been drinking all weekend and you show up on Monday morning and your eyes are not clear, your skin is not clear, you're sluggish, for lack of a better term, people in your professional environment will notice that. They will notice those things. So I'll give you an example. You know, I don't drink. My wife and I are not drinkers. And so my wife has never been a drinker. I was someone who drank in the past, but you know, it's been decades since I've had a drink at all. And the reason is because at some point you realize that it's not conducive for you to maximize your success. But even then, and the reason I brought this up is because even when I would go out, you know, at the end of the business day and have drinks with colleagues, or we'd celebrate a deal or transaction that was really significant, we would go out and drink. But one thing we didn't do is we didn't drink beyond, for example, if you went out to watch the football game, you might have mimosas at brunch, but that's about it on a Sunday. Because then I didn't have a relationship with the Lord and I wasn't living for the Lord, so, you know. But I say that to say, that's one thing we never did. You might drink Friday night. If you go out on Saturday, you might drink Saturday evening. But one thing we weren't going to do is drink on Sunday, because we knew what Monday meant. Monday means something. For us, it was Merger Monday. Mondays mean something. So anyone who did that, you would know when they came into the office on Monday. You would know that they had been out drinking on Sunday. The problem is your daughter's now drinking throughout the weekend, and that's what you mean when you say excessively. you know, but until you get to the point where you realize that it's not only damaging your body, it's damaging your performance, it's hard for some people to grasp that. You can't have a conversation with her where it appears you're attacking what she's doing. You have to have a conversation with her that points out the benefits of slowing down her drinking habits. You know, you can have a conversation with her about the regrets that she's experienced about drinking excessively drinking excessively with her friends. And you may want to encourage her not to drink during the holiday season. Let her see what that looks like to have a completely sober Christmas and New Year's. Just ask her to try something different so that she doesn't endure the regrets. We want to live life with as few regrets as we possibly can. We want to make certain that there's an old adage people say, I want to live my life no regrets. We're all going to have some regrets, whether it's a career change we made, whether it's a failed relationship. We're all going to have some regrets. What we want to do is limit the regrets that we have about life. And so the goal is to really determine how we can limit our regrets. Because a life without regrets is a life without progress. And let me tell you what I mean by that. And you can have this conversation with your daughter also. We're all going to have some type of regret because we're all trying, at least I should say the major portion of the population, we're all trying to have success. So there's going to be some regrets. If you haven't been giving 100% of the time, you may not have any regrets. There's exceptions to the rule, to every rule. That's not the rule. The rule is we're all going to have some regrets because we're all trying to make progress. The truth of the matter is she wants to limit those regrets. And in this case, because she regrets what she does when she's drinking, if she just stops drinking, she can eliminate the regrets. Now, I'm not suggesting that she's not going to have a glass of wine from time to time. I'm not going to suggest, because there are people who do that, but they don't drink excessively. As I said, I personally, I don't drink, and it's been a few decades, but the reality is, because when you get to a place where you realize that it is impacting your performance or your body, you may realize those two things. And when you get to that place, you then make a decision. Okay, there's certain things I'm just not going to do. As much as I enjoyed a good cigar and a martini, I realized that neither one of those things were going to enhance my health. And I know there's going to be people out there saying, Pastor, we're all going to die from something. I just want to enjoy life whatever way I want to enjoy it. But is it really enjoyment when you're doing things that start to impact your body physically, impact your cognitive ability, and impact your performing at a high level? Is it really, really worth it? So you might just want to have some different conversations with your daughter and ask her if she's interested in doing some different things. Some things that are really going to enhance the quality of her life. This segment of the broadcast has been brought to you by T-Mobile, America's largest, fastest, and most reliable 5G provider at no extra charge. If you are not currently a T-Mobile customer, you may call or text on the T-Mobile call or text line at 267-992-1424. We will move you into our queue so that you may become a T-Mobile customer and experience America's largest, fastest, and most reliable 5G provider at no extra charge. Taxes and fees are included in your bill, and if you auto pay by attaching a credit card to your account, you will receive a discount on your monthly bill. At T-Mobile, America's largest, fastest, and most reliable 5G provider at no extra charge. I'm going to address another communication that came in from one of our listeners and viewers who indicated that your husband has been a father to your daughter, the only father she has ever known, and yet she's afraid to love him for fear that if your marriage does not last, he will be absent from her life. Okay, so these sometimes can be insecurities for young people because from an early age, they don't have the ability to navigate certain things. They don't have the tools to navigate. So you have to load up the toolbox. And what I mean by that is this. Okay, he's not her biological father, but he's her father. He's raised her. He's the only father she's ever known. And yet you see signs that she is afraid to love him. And one of the things I will tell you happens with blended families so often is that the children find it difficult when they're children to love more than two people. I mean, what I mean by that is, sometimes when you blend families together, there's, three adults involved, or sometimes four adults involved. And in a case like that, children find it difficult to love the bonus parent because, first of all, they've already gone through a divorce or a absentee parent, and they've already gone through that. So in their mind, it could happen again. And secondly, they don't know how to navigate their feelings of loving more than one person, the person who gave them life. The two people that gave them life, they're not capable of understanding that you have the ability to love more than one person simultaneously. The example of that is you love your mother, you love your father. You should love God, love your father, love your mother. So you're capable of loving more than one person. But when they're young, and yours are young adults now, but when they're young, they find it difficult to love more than the person who gave them life. They have a relationship of love with grandparents, they have a relationship of love with siblings, but all of those relationships are different than loving a parent who has given you life through their DNA. So in their mind, those are the only two people I'm supposed to love. Over time, what they may learn or may not learn as adults is that it's perfectly okay to love more than one person. It's perfectly okay to love someone who loves me, and they'll learn that, hopefully. But your daughter's a young adult, and so in her mid-20s, and she's afraid to love because she's afraid your marriage may end. You've got to listen. The two of you are going to find it necessary to sit down and have a conversation with her. Hopefully jointly, certainly individually. And the first thing you have to make her understand is that your commitment to marriage is for life. That you're never going to get a divorce. Now, I know people will tell you never say never. But if you mean it and you're committed to, no matter what, maintaining your marriage, the commitment that you've made before God this time, tell her that. The two of you can simply tell her that. If you're fully committed to that, you can have that conversation with her. She can feel more secure about it. Secondly, if that is her primary concern, that if your marriage does not last, he will be absent from her life, then it's both your jobs to individually express to her. If that were to be the case, you as a mother would never interfere or feel that she's being disloyal by maintaining a relationship with her father. It's his responsibility to then make certain that she understands that if that were to occur, he's still going to be present for her. He's not going to be absent from her life under any circumstances unless she refuses to share her life with him. And it's particularly difficult for young ladies because if their father's already absent from their life, their biological father is already absent from their life, they're now running on history. They're living on history. So in their mind, he doesn't have my DNA. He may not be present any longer. He can assure her, make her more assured by just stating that if that were to occur, hopefully you're making the commitment that no matter what, you two are going to be together. Because there's no abuse going on in your marriage, there's no neglect going on in your marriage in the sense of no destructive behaviors, no issues that are prevalent in your lives. No issues that are a contributing factor to divorce. You two should be able to make that commitment to her that no matter what, you're married for life. If for some reason, so let me give you an example. Sometimes it's not even divorce. It could be death. None of us are getting out of this alive. But he also has to make her understand that if her mother were to, her mother were to depart before he does, he's still going to be present for her. He's still going to be there if she needs him. She'll still be able to pick up the phone and come home and do all of the things that she's always done, but he's going to be there. He's not going anywhere. And if you both take that approach, you will find that she will be more comfortable. Because love is a powerful thing, and the more love she has, the better her life is going to be. See, that's one of the things that young people don't realize either, when they're children and they're trying to navigate, how do I love 3 people or 4 people as parents, then they don't really get that you've got a benefit that most people don't have. You have more than one person or 2 people to love you. That's a blessing, not a curse. That's truly a blessing when people can love you not just because DNA, but they can love you because you have the blood of Jesus covering your lives. That's the love of God. And if you've got that, you can overcome anything. Everything will be all right. This segment of the broadcast is brought to you by PorscheAmerica.com. If you're in the market for a new vehicle, one of the finest high-performance vehicles ever manufactured, go to PorscheAmerica.com. You will virtually be able to build out the type of Porsche you desire to own. And if you're in our area, go to PorscheDelaware.com. Ask to speak to Mike Didio, who is the general manager of PorscheDelaware.com. He will make certain that you are taken care of and assign someone to help you build out the type of vehicle that you desire to own. And if you currently own a Porsche, one of the finest high-performance automobiles ever manufactured, and you're in our area, go to PorscheDelaware.com. Ask to speak to Mike Adams, who is the service manager at PorscheDelaware.com. He will make certain that an appointment is scheduled for you and that your vehicle is picked up at your home or office, and they will drop off a loaner car to you and return your vehicle to you when service has been completed at PorscheDelaware.com. And this segment is brought to you by Charles Tyrwhitt, located in London, UK. They also have stores in New York, Chicago, Washington, D.C., and at the King of Prussia Mall in King of Prussia, Pennsylvania. So if you're in any of those areas, stop in at their retail stores. They have everything a man could possibly need. And if you're not in those areas, you can order from Charles Tyrwhitt at ctshirts.com. They will ship and deliver right to your front door in an appropriate period of time. And The White Company, located in London, the UK. They also have a store on Fifth Avenue in New York. So if you're in New York, stop in at their retail store. They have everything you could possibly need: home goods, clothing for men, women, and children. And if you're not in New York, you can order from The White Company at thewhitecompany.com. They too will ship and deliver right to your front door in an appropriate period of time. I'm going to address another communication that came in from one of our listeners and viewers who indicated that you are struggling with family issues that are not getting any better. However, you had hoped that your children, as they matured, they would become more focused on the success of the family unit. So, however, they have not, and insist on living their own lives separately. So, listen, we live in a society that has really taught individuals that they should live life just as an individual. And consequently, that's how we focused on life. We focused on just building our own success. And of course, taking care of our children and making certain that as they become adults, they begin their lives, their careers, and they go on their journey of life. The problem with that is that there's going to be individual struggles. And one of the things that I've seen over the lifetime of my career is that I've witnessed families who have built companies they followed the Bible, the Word of God, unto the third and fourth generation, unto the fourth and fifth generation, is what the Bible says. And they've lived by that. They have built companies that have not only sustained, but that each generation has moved the company forward. Unfortunately, and particularly in our culture, unfortunately though, society has taught people to live as individuals, to only focus on what's important for their own individual life and not what's important for the generations to come. And so consequently, we're living to break a generational curse. A curse that's been placed on families by society, the teachings of society, I should say. We have to renew the mind. Now, because you're focused on that, your hopes that as they matured, they would be focused on the success of the family unit have been dashed. But that doesn't imply that if you keep instructing and keep teaching, that someday they may break that generational curse. That they may decide that focusing on the success of the family unit will then lead to generational success and to generational wealth. And then they can have a greater impact on society through philanthropic endeavors and begin a new process. But we've got a lot of damage to repair before the curse is broken. We've got a lot of family issues to address. Renew the mind before we got a lot of work to do before we can get to that place. But we can get there. We just have to renew the mind and begin thinking differently. And we renew that mind every year. And every year we begin to make some progress and begin to further the family unit for generations to come. 3D, today's Daily Divine Direction broadcast has been brought to you by Fiji Water. A taste of paradise will be delivered right to your front door when you subscribe for delivery, and you will save money at FijiWater.com. Remember, this is not just ordinary water. This is Earth's finest water at FijiWater.com. May God bless you today. May God keep his face turned towards you. May God give you peace that surpasses all understanding. Have a great day today.